Hello, everyone. Welcome to another game of, or welcome to another match of Littlewargame. Today, I'm bringing you somewhat of a special treat today. Today, I am spectating a live game between SlammerIV and Kaitaro. These two players are very, very talented, very skilled players in this game, and we're playing it on a very large map today. I forget exactly what it's called. I'm sure someone can say it in the comments. But basically, a very large map, and thus the rush distances between these two places are not very large at all. If you haven't seen, or if you don't know who SlammerIV is, he's much more popular than I am in the Littlewargame community. But I'll go ahead and leave a link to his YouTube channel down in the description. He makes fantastic videos about cool strategies that people are going for, and he makes a lot of great videos. So go ahead and check out his videos. We make similar content, so it's pretty fun. But we're both like-minded in the sense of we like to create videos to grow the community and to get different strategies and different guides and things like that out there. Kaitaro looks like he's going for a barrack opening, so he'll probably have this very standard opening that he has in mind. He did have this barrack in production, but it looks like he just canceled this. Yesterday, I went into a match by myself, basically to test some of the aspects of this game, and I found out that if you cancel a building, you get 75% of the resources that went into making that building back refunded to you. So, for instance, Kaitaro went to build this barracks, and maybe it was a mistake, and it takes 125 resources to build it. But if you cancel it, you get 93 resources back, because that's roughly about 70% or 75% of that building. SlammerIV, yesterday he put out a building, kind of going over a strategy that Rhinus had, where he went for a mill before going for his second castle. I don't believe that was the build order this time, as the castle's already been produced and the mill is still in production. But very similar in the sense of prioritizing this MECH play, going for a defensive unit at home, and then also going for additional economy. This is pretty good on this map, especially because the rush distance between these two starting locations is quite large. So typically going for a 1 den or 2 den doesn't work very well, because the amount of time that it takes for those wolves to get on the other side is just a little bit too long for there to be any good pressure going on. So it looks like Kaitaro and SlammerIV are going for just a little bit of aggression. Kaitaro is going to be able to see that this gyrocraft is out and on the other side of the map. I'm very curious to see how he's going to respond to that. I know that, or I believe up to this point, as we can see, Kaitaro's has already been making some archers, and he's just spreading them out, making sure that he's got at least one at each base to defend against some possible gyrocraft harassment. So, taking a look at the positioning, very, very early third bases coming up. But both players playing really well, making sure that they have just the right amount of units to defend against any harassment that's going on. But both players going to 3 bases within the first 5 minutes of this game, which is pretty fast. Pretty fast. Usually, we're typically at this point we'll see players go into their tech. Looks like Kaitaro's is not doing that, whereas SlammerIV is going for this advanced workshop, which is going to be pretty interesting. I'm curious to see if he's going to use this for drop plays, because he can get an airship or he can get ballista. I'm not quite sure how they combo well into MECH. Besides, and this used to be very popular, it gets played quite a bit with older players to this game, players that have been playing for a while. But typically, what we see is catapult drops. So we'll see an airship come out. 2 catapults will go on the other side of the map, and then they'll be able to do a lot of worker harassment, a lot of building harassment with that unit composition. And that's just a unit combination that's good for harassing. There's no all-in potential. What I'm trying to say is that you're not risking too much by doing that kind of harassment, really. SlammerIV using his units to scout around, making sure that his opponent didn't go for any additional bases that he may have greeted. And we have the benefit of seeing full vision, where SlammerIV does not have that benefit, as he's only got his own units. But he's doing a fantastic job of making sure that he can see everything that's going on. At the same time, he's going for a forge upgrade. So this all should be timed out, which is actually pretty fantastic play by Slammer. This upgrade should be, this +1 attack upgrade for MECH should be finished by the time that this airship is on the other side of the map and harassing his opponent's units. So it'll be very curious to see how that plays into everything. I know for this exact moment, catapults can 3-shot workers. With that upgrade, they might be able to 2-shot them, but I could be wrong. This is not something I tested out. It's not knowledge I currently have. But we're going to keep an eye. So that offensive upgrade did finish, and SlammerIV is now on the other side of the map going to harass. We've got the soldier on hold, on guard command or hold position, so not moving, not going to attack that catapult. And SlammerIV finally getting to this catapult to do a little bit of harassment. So as we can see, yeah, so it does look like they will be able to 2-shot workers. As we can see, those workers go from 120 health to about 50 health right after 1 catapult. So doing a lot of damage here. As we can see, these catapults are able to just absolutely wipe out these archers. And now SlammerIV is going to be able to just do some great harassment. I'm very curious to see what his APM is like at this position. So he's microing this as well as he can, while at the same time keeping an eye on his production at home. It looks like Kaitaro was able to get a drop in his opponent's base at the exact same time. Should keep an eye. And it looks like SlammerIV is going to counter this drop by sending his gyrocrafts in, forcing Kaitaro to drop all of his combat units, and then being able to deal with it, this drop with all of his mech forces at home. Go ahead and take a look at the positions here. So both of them still on 3 bases. I'm very curious to see when they decide to go for a 4th base, when they think a good timing for that is. Besides that, their building positioning is in a good place where they can kind of see, well, this workshop positioning is good to be able to see what's going on in with these buildings and potential flanks. Got a watchtower in the center of the map. We got another upgrade coming up, and then we have some ballista coming around for Kaitaro. That's pretty good for trying to deal with gyrocraft, especially since he knows that his opponent is going for mech. And it looks like at this specific point, Kaitaro decides that at 9 minutes and 30 seconds, now is the best time to go for an additional 4th base. As we can see, this is kind of interesting. They don't know, so SlammerIV is not aware of his opponent's army positioning, but they are idling pretty close to each other, and that's going to be pretty interesting. Looks like we're going for additional tech here somewhere. We can see on the production tab, I'm looking around for it, but we can see on the protection tab that Kaitaro is going for a mage guild. So he will be able to have mages pretty soon, and then after researching that fireball upgrade, he'll be able to get them out on the map and working for himself. While at the same time, SlammerIV also going for his fourth base, being able to get everything set up. Looks like at this point, SlammerIV has reached a point where he's fully saturated, or saturated as he wants to be on 3 bases, and so he's decided to not produce any more workers. Oh, actually, nope, I'm wrong. He he goes back to producing workers, but it looks like he just wanted to spend some resources in other locations. Fireball upgrade coming up for Kaitaro, and then we have this offensive upgrade again coming up for Slammer. Go ahead and look at the upgrades. He's already got 2, and he's going to get his 3rd upgrade, offensive upgrade in production really soon here. Kaitaro doing a really good job of keeping his resources low, spending as much as he can. Both of these players have pretty close to the same amount of income, with SlammerIV just having that slight advantage in about 100 resources. This is a live game, so we will experience a little bit of lag. So that there was a little bit of a lag spike that just happened right there. Okay, this is going to be pretty interesting. So both players now being able to see each other pretty soon. Kaitaro has no idea of this mech army until this exact point where they'll both be able to see each other. Very interesting positioning. The fact that these armies are so close to each other, yet unseen. The unseen threat is occurring. And now both of these players now being able to realize that they have their armies in the center of the map. Raiders blinking in forward aggressively to try and do as much damage to the catapults. Very, very risky from Kaitaro to keep his archers grouped up, and immediately when he realizes his mistake, he has them split up, and he moves forward in aggression against his opponent. SlammerIV pulling his workers so that they can go on auto repair and definitely try and get the advantage that he needs in order to stay ahead in this fight. As we can see from this point, though, SlammerIV does have the unit composition to really counter these archers. Kaitaro could try and do something with his mages to try and get ahead, but as we can see, these catapults from the back here are doing a fantastic job of just harassing and poking and dealing a lot of damage to his opponent, while also using his Gatling guns to do constant damage to his opponents. Kaitaro is doing a fantastic job of splitting, though, and so I think he's getting a lot more value than any less skilled players might be able to achieve at this point. Soldiers do come, and they are great at zoning these catapults to attack the soldiers, while the archers do some consistent DPS. Mages doing their damage, the raiders coming in. But this is probably the most intriguing part about this fight. SlammerIV using these defensive watchtowers to do as much consistent damage as well as tanking the brute force of this army, while being able to defend with his catapults and his workers. While at the same time, SlammerIV has these gyrocraft. He's got some idle workers at home. So very interesting. Something that I've always kept my mind on is when do you know how much attention you should spend on a fight that's going on, and on keeping your production at home, your microplay up. So at this point, I'm going to keep focusing on this. These ballista are coming in and basically trying to take away any potential advantage with these watchtowers, and then we just go back to this skirmish that's happening back. That's happening back and forth. Kaitaro, it looks like he is going for a little bit of a switch. He's going into producing a ton of raiders, which in this particular situation seems to be like a very good idea. The fact that raiders can blink in very deep into his opponent's backline makes it so that those catapults are slightly more exposed. But it looks like Kaitaro decides to GG out of this game, knowing that the mech player at this point had a stronger positioning with his army. He had a stronger unit composition that was very good against um, a barracks play style at that particular point in the game. So I thought that was very well played by both these players. Like I said earlier in the video, SlammerIV, fantastic player. He's been playing this game for such a long time and very knowledgeable about this game. And I'll go ahead and leave a link to his YouTube channel that you guys can check out. If you enjoyed my content and the videos that I produce for you, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, and that'll let you see my videos a little bit more frequently. And then leave a comment letting me know what you thought about the video, what you thought about certain strategies that were going on, and how both these players played out their games. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.